Hello, students. Hi, I am your teacher for the Earth and Life Science, Week 2. For this week, in our subject in Earth and Life Science, we'll be talking about rocks. Before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. I am Sir Stephen Tabal, your Earth and Life Science teacher. Let us first read this famous line from a science person. He said, "The science of today is the technology of tomorrow." Do you agree? If yes, then thumbs up for you. What is rock? Does it undergo a cycle too, like water? So let us define first what is a rock. Rocks are any solid mass of mineral or mineral-like matter occurring naturally as part of our planet. If you try to look around, surely you will find plenty of rocks in your surroundings. Am I correct? Rocks could be classified into different types. The first one, we call them igneous rock. They're usually formed by crystallization of molten rocks. Usually, where can you find samples of this kind of rock? Pause for a while and try to think of your answer. The second one is called sedimentary rock and is formed from weathered products of pre-existing rocks that have been transported, deposited, compacted, and cemented. We will discuss each one, those terms mentioned, as we move on to this video. And lastly, we have metamorphic rock, wherein it is formed by the alteration of pre-existing rock deep within the earth, but of course it's still in solid state due to heat, pressure, and chemically active fluids. Let us look at this point, the rock cycle. Like water, it will undergo a cycle, but before that, we need to know what's a magma and what is a lava. Do you know the difference? Magma is the molten material that forms deep beneath the Earth's surface. On the other hand, lava is what reaches the surface. So always think of this. Magma deep within, lava on the surface. Okay? Weathering is a process wherein rocks are broken down by either water, air, and living things. And sediment is the weathered pieces of earth elements. As we'll be able to understand deeper the rock cycle if we know each term. Question: what drives the rock cycle? I want you to pause for a while and ask yourself, what really drives the rock cycle? And try to think as well, how important is the rock cycle? So for your task for this week, I want you to find in the internet or in a book the rock cycle. And as your task, I want you to write it in a bond paper, draw the rock cycle, and label all the necessary parts. Okay? So let's proceed to our lesson. Since we're done with the rock cycle, because it is part of your task, let's proceed to the formation of igneous rocks, wherein it's one of the types of rock. There are two kinds of igneous rocks. The first one is called intrusive igneous rock, and the other one is extrusive. From the word itself, intrusive, it is a kind of rock that is located deep within a volcano. And for extrusive, it is a kind of igneous rock that could be found outside. But there are mnemonics or ways for us to understand the difference of the two. Let's think of intrusive rocks, wherein the magma, like the one I mentioned before, hardens beneath the Earth's surface. So that's intrusive, inside. Extrusive, on the other hand, are rocks formed when lava hardens. So that's X, outside. In, inside. EX, like exit, outside. Is that clear? Now, the kinds of rocks could also be classified according to their texture. Like this one, as you can see clearly, it's a coarse grained igneous rock. Coarse grain because it's like you could see like bits and pieces of rice embedded on the rock. It's coarse grain because of the slow cooling process resulting in large crystals. On the other hand, fine grained igneous rock is when it is caused by rapid cooling, therefore resulting in smaller interconnected mineral grains. Again, coarse grain like this one is slow cooling, and fine grain like this one is a result of a rapid cooling process. This one is an obsidian glassy texture, wherein the texture is like a glass, and it's so cool to look at. Usually, they are displayed in our houses as part of a design embedded on an art, but could be displayed in a museum. And it's also used to make the ambience good and wonderful. This one exhibits glassy texture. This one is porphyritic texture of igneous rock. Quite different, but still an igneous rock. Basalt, on the other hand, is this kind of rock. For sedimentary rock, it is when sediments pile up each other. Before we will understand that one, let's go back to our knowledge of erosion. We were still in grade 7. And it's simply the weathering and the removal of rock. We need also to understand how they are deposited to different areas using different agents like water, wind, ice, or gravity, and even you. You could have been a part of the erosion. They also form by compaction that squeezes or compacts sediments, or it could be in a form of cementation, wherein dissolved minerals are deposited in tiny spaces among the sediments. Before we move any further, sedimentary rocks could also be classified into two groups. The first one, we call that one clastic, wherein it's composed of weathered bits of rocks and minerals. Most common are shale like this one, sandstone, and conglomerate. And the second one, we call them chemical sedimentary rocks, formed by the dissolved substances precipitate or separate from water. Examples are limestone, which is most abundant chemical rock, microcrystalline quartz known as flint, chert, and agate, or evaporized such as rock salt or gypsum, and including coal. So this one is shale. As you could see, the shale has a plant fossil embedded in it. Who knows? You'll be able to unfold and discover an ancient plant embedded on a rock. Conglomerate. Once again, conglomerate, as mentioned a while ago, is a kind of clastic sedimentary rock. This one is fossiliferous limestone, wherein it's like embedded in it are like fossils. For metamorphic rocks, they are formed in such different manner, and the, the, the process is called metamorphism, meaning to change form. Most metamorphic changes occur at elevated temperatures and pressures, and conditions are found a few kilometers below the Earth's surface and then even extends into the upper mantle. The formation of metamorphic rocks could be contact, wherein it occurs when magma moves into rock, or it, and it changes by temperature rise, or when it's near the magma, or it could be into non-contact, which we discuss a little bit later. But there are agents of metamorphism. First, you have heat, where it provides energy needed to drive chemical reactions. Pressure. Pressure, remember pressure, causes a more compact rock with greater density. Like this one, it's called gneiss. Gneiss. Displays a banded appearance. It has like a stripe. Marble, an unfoliated metamorphic rock. I have failed to mention part of our lesson wherein the first one for the formation of metamorphic rocks, it could also be in a form of regional metamorphism, wherein in a regional metamorphism, it results in a large scale deformation and high grade metamorphism. It, directed pressures and high temperatures occur during mountain buildings. If there are large mountains in your area, then surely it could be great chances are there are regional metamorphism. It produces the greatest volume of metamorphic rock. And as mentioned in the agents, heat is one of the factor, and as well as pressure. If you classify metamorphic rocks, there are two main categories. One is foliated metamorphic rock, and the other one is non-foliated metamorphic rock. For foliated metamorphic rock, it has banded or layered appearance like the one I have shown you a while ago. For non-foliated, it does not have a banded texture. So at this point, since we don't have yet your module 2, if you're done with this topic on rocks, you can once again view it and try to learn from it and answer the questions in the module as soon as you have it. If you have questions or query, you can use our chat room for each classroom or direct it to me, and I will try my best to answer all your questions. If you have no more questions, Then let me end the lesson by telling you be safe, wash your hands, distance yourself from others, and be healthy always by eating well and sleeping early. That's all for now. Bye bye. See you soon.